Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Reality Writes Live. I am author Ellie Alexander, and I'm here with...
The tech guy just barely recovered from last night's game.
Oh my goodness. In case you don't know...
Any Penn State fans out there? Woo!
No.
Go Ducks.
We are both University of Oregon alums. We met at Oregon. In fact, fun fact, we camped out for Rose Bowl tickets our senior year of college for 2 nights. We were first in line for Rose Bowl tickets because it was the first time the Ducks had been to the Rose Bowl. We camped out in the snow in Eugene. Like, I would not do that now, but I'm glad I did back in the day.
Yeah, what a game. Wow. It was really cool.
Joseph, I know. Sorry.
Yeah, but Joseph, the Steelers won today, right? So if I remember right, I think that was a good thing for you. I know it was a good thing for me, but anyway.
That balances it out. No, I was going to say my mom was born in Pennsylvania. And go Ducks, Cassandra. My mom was born in Pennsylvania, so she was always a Penn State fan. So I was thinking last night, like, she would have been very torn last night. I don't know who she would have rooted for because, of course, she was Ducks vicariously through all of us. But yeah.
Yes, Joseph, that was, it was like, I believe, if I remember right, and I know I do because I was there and watched it with dismay, but Kijana Carter busted an 80-yard touchdown run right up the middle on the first play of the game. So, yeah.
Well, we were just happy to be there. Let's be real. Like, we just couldn't believe that the Ducks were in the Rose Bowl. So
totally.
This was like, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But if we're going to talk the Rose Bowl that Penn State won, I mean, we should really talk about the Big Ten championship last year then, right? Because, Oh, I kid. Drew Aller. Yeah, he does say you're welcome. I don't know. All the people who aren't football fans are like, what in the hell is going on right now? Yeah.
Well, what I will say is last night, I think our neighbors probably thought that there was a murder at our house last night because we were screaming so loud. And it's warm still here in California, so we had all the doors and windows opened. So, yeah, it was a bit of a celebration, you might say. Hey, Cat.
Cat's
welcome. Oh, Duck. Cat's a duck too. We have a duck contingent here, so bring it on. The one thing that I will say, and then we're going to get into today's episode where we're going to talk a lot about romance, but the tech guy and I were just in Portland and Bend. We were back in Oregon for some book events last week. We are in full Ashland Mystery Fest prep. We're at the 2-week countdown. I can't believe it. But I would like to say that Portland is not a hellscape. It was gorgeous. It looked beautiful. All my Portland friends are doing just fine. They were out brunching. We had coffee outside. The city looked beautiful. It was sun-kissed with fall. Yeah.
Barely made it out of there alive. Yeah. We're dodging tanks left and right. It was, it was incredible.
Yeah. So, especially, I mean, I think it's important, and it does map back to what we're going to talk about today because Portland was where I started writing cozies. That's where the original Meg Reed series took place. Portland is just a fantastic city. And so I'm excited that through my books, hopefully you get to see that lens. Sure, there's a little fiction in terms of, a few bodies, but the real Portland is such an inspiration for this series. And Meg's going to be back in Portland in the upcoming rom-com that we're going to talk about.
Whoa.
I know. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. This was, I mean, you'll get into it, but let's just say being in the house while you were writing these was interesting.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. So for any darlings who might not be familiar, I've talked about this a little bit, but it is kind of semi-breaking news in that I have not one, but 2 holiday rom-coms coming out in October. And I just was doing the math because I was trying to think of how many mysteries, Sherry, I know, all the rom-com vibes. I was trying to think of how many mysteries I've written to this point, which I have 41 published mysteries at this stage of my career, but I've actually already written 5 more because of the way the publishing schedule works out. So, having written 46 mysteries, the formula of mystery writing is in my head. And I know that some darlings and some writers, that sort of is like nails on a chalkboard if you say formula. But let's face it, at the end of the day, there is a formula. You get to make it your own, but the formula for a mystery is that a sleuth or a detective or whomever stumbles upon a body, finds the body, proceeds to go around said village or town, whether it's Portland or Ashland or Leavenworth or a fictional Redwood Grove, interview suspects, put together all the clues, and then at the end, solve the crime and all is right with the world. That's the formula. You can do whatever you want with it within that, but that is the classic formula of a mystery. Do we all agree on this? Yes. Yes. Right?
It sounds like
Why
it.
are you quiet now, Tech Guy?
Oh no! I mean, I agree that there's a formula. I mean, we say that just by. I mean, there's a formula to pretty much every genre, I would say, and that just happens to be. But that one, after 41 plus 5, 46 books, that's yeah, I can see where that would be ingrained. It would be like learning to unride a bicycle, or unlearning to ride a bicycle, I guess. Yeah.
Unlearning how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or riding a bicycle backwards. Okay. So the basic plot of a romance is couple meets, sparks fly, there's some kind of lovely romantic connection, something pulls them apart, and then they get back together at the end. There's like 1, 2, 3 beats. Whereas with a mystery, you are plotting out suspects in terms of their secrets, their lies. You need to know these tight timelines of when the murder occurred and where all of the suspects are, what they were doing at the time of the murder. Like, there's so much that goes into plotting. And when I sat down to write my first holiday rom-com, I'm like, well, wait a minute. They meet. That's it. Like, okay, there's a meet cute. Now what? Oh, okay. They have some kind of tension. Great. No, I mean, I'm making it sound much simpler than it is. Because to your point, once I started writing them, these 2 duets that are coming out, I found that it's really hard to unlearn how to ride a bicycle, to unlearn how to want to heavily plot and put a body there and like, oh, I got to put them in danger. No, you don't. Stop.
Right. And I should have come up with a different analogy because, truth be known, you are a terrible bicycle rider. So that really doesn't work.
Terrible. It doesn't work. Yeah, I never really learned to rock. I just think it was funny that you were thinking that.
I know. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I just. It was the first thing that came to mind. Maybe I'm already thinking about tomorrow morning's commute. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Well, since we're talking rom-coms, we should tell the story of, because it's romantic, of our honeymoon. We went to Hawaii. And we decided it would be fun. I think I decided it would be fun to bike the volcano.
You booked it. Yes.
Sunrise.
You booked it.
I'm pretty sure I booked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So, you got to be up there early. So you got to get up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like that. It was super early. We got up, we met the tour, which was like a van with, like 12 bikes on the back. They drive us all the way up to the top of the volcano, all the way up. And it's just this beautiful, like wide sweeping turns and everything. There's no like, you're not riding on the edge. Like you're going to fall over the cliff and fall 500 feet to your death. It's like, if you were to go off the road, you would just roll gently down the hill. Like it's not, it's not very steep.
I beg to differ.
It's just a long ways up. Oh yeah. So the idea is you get up there really early and you see the sunrise, and then you bike down, and like about halfway down, there's a small little village, and you stop and you have lunch, and then you get down to the bottom, and the van then picks you up at the parking lot at the bottom at the viewpoint, and they take you back to your hotel. So it's timed. But you've got like, I don't know, 5 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
So 4 or 5 hours, like it's timed. And if you like if you wanted to, you could bomb down the mountain. You could make that ride in probably 20 minutes. If you just wanted to fly down the street. But the idea is, you stop along the way, take pictures, whatever. We didn't even make it to lunch.
No.
Like this is a Hallmark rom-com right here, because we started out and we had barely left the parking lot, and I was like, and all of a sudden she just stops, and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, oh no, and I kid you not, we probably went 2, maybe 3 miles an hour the entire way down the mountain. Like, it was the slowest, most excruciation thing and we're newly married. It was amazing.
That's true love. That's true love.
It was,
and we were 20.
True.
It wasn't like I was gonna.
Right.
We were in our mid-20s, like late 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, we were young.
Yes. It was amazing. That is
it was a disaster.
Yeah. But that would make a great scene for a rom-com. That's the kind of thing. But I don't know. Did you channel that while you were writing these two?
A little bit. Yeah. And maybe for a future book, I think for sure. Before we loop back, I'm seeing a lot of Cherry is saying, I think formula or tropes, she used to think they were a bad thing, but she realizes this is just story structure. It's true, because every style of genre has its own structure. Like if you think about a thriller, it's the opposite. It's like we know from the get-go who the killer is, and then the whole book is trying to track them down. It's the exact opposite of a mystery.
Wait, I'm going to derail us for one. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was just going to say, Tish says, I didn't realize how complex writing a cozy sounds. It really is. I mean, you have to keep all of that in your head and find a way to embed red herrings and make sure your sleuth is in danger. I mean, there's a lot to track. Not necessarily true for a rom-com in terms of plotting, but there's a lot more that you have to track for a rom-com. So we'll get back to that. What do you want to derail us with, Tech Guy?
Oh, back to the Portland thing and being a war-torn city and everything. Kat made a comment, which I know is true, having been out to drinks with Kat. Yes, this is the most dangerous thing in Portland is her old-fashioned. So yeah,
that's right. Totally. Yeah. Watch out. Don't mess with Kat and her whiskey.
Totally.
Okay, so yes, and Cherry says in a mystery, all of the suspects have something to hide. They also all have to have a viable reason to wanting to kill the victim. I mean, the plot just goes on and on and on. So we will go back to the beginning in terms of why I even decided to venture into this space. I do love a good rom-com. I like anything that's in the Emily Henry vein, Christina Lauren. I really enjoy reading rom-coms, especially at the holiday season. You, Tech Guy, over the years have bought me a stack of so many cute, cozy Christmas books. It feels like, oh, you want to read about love, Dash and Lily. There's so many just sweet, fun holiday rom-coms.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've never read one. I've seen several rom-com movies with you. I do love them. Like Dash and Lily. That was actually I loved that movie. But yes, totally different vibe. So yeah, I saw Lily said, red herrings are not easy to squeeze in, and that gets me thinking, since I don't really have any experience reading rom-coms. Mysteries have things like red herrings, suspects. I think it was Cherry said, in a mystery, all the suspects have something to hide. But you don't have any of that in a rom-com. So what do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do to keep what do you do to hold the reader's interest, right? Because you've spent many years. I won't say how many,
Mhm.
many years, like
Wow.
writing things like that and using those vehicles to like keep people turning that page and keep people like guessing, like, oh wait, but and throwing suspicion one way when you want them to look the other way. That sort of thing. Like, how does that work in a rom com, and what did you do to figure that out?
I know. Well, I feel like I owe all the romance writers out there an apology because I thought, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. Like, I don't have to do all this plotting. No, it was so much harder because of all of those things. Maybe if I had started out and this was my first book in general, it would be different. But it was that whole thing of having to take myself completely out of mystery headspace, not cozy headspace, because both of these books have all of the same cozy vibes that you find in my mysteries. These are also I hate using the word sweet, but they're not spicy as far as the romance goes, right? Like they're in romance that's probably the other like big factor because you can have something that is like mine where it's really a story about like meeting, falling in love, maybe um friends to enemies. You can take all these tropes, right? Finding new love. And you mash those all together in like a beautiful story, hopefully. But then you can go much higher on the spice chart too, so things can get really fun and racy depending on where you're at. So my style is still definitely in the cozy vein because that's just what I want to write. So there's that factor. And then there's the emotional arc. Okay, so instead of bodies and suspects and clues and red herrings and these little mini cliffhangers, what are these bigger emotional growth arcs that you're taking these characters on, and how over the course of 300 give or take pages can you set them up on a journey to find love, to rekindle love, to fall out of love, whatever the theme's going to be. And so for me, with the first book I wrote in this vein, which is actually the second one that's going to come out, um, I started with 3 storylines and then found a way to weave them all together. I missed that comment. What did you
Oh,
throw up?
it was, because the comments are always a little delayed, but you were talking about the spice factor and how, what you write is not that spicy and everything. And
It's
Joseph
not
just
spicy.
said, you're not going to see any Harlequin books from you. So,
Sadly, no, no, no Harlequin. Although I
yeah.
have 2 great friends in Southern Oregon who write an prolific romance
Yeah.
and have written for Harlequin for years. So props to them. Yeah. So the heat factor for mine is they're warm and cozy. They're just holiday reads. But I during the pandemic, there was this call out to write something along the lines of Love Actually with 3 intertwining stories, but to modernize it. And we have both seen Love Actually many times, and I love it in theory, but there are some parts where you're like, doesn't quite hold up so well 20 years later. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a few. Your boss, like all those things. But like in
Kind of
general, I
gross.
love that concept.
Yeah.
Super gross,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, big issues. So I started with that concept. And again, this was in 2020. So this was like December of 2020 that I started writing it. So we had been, deep into lockdowns for what would that have been, like 9 months at that point in time. And I thought, like, what could we do that would be outside and holiday fun that would be safe and like, we could do social distancing and all the things. So I was toying with this idea of a scavenger hunt. And then I went down this rabbit hole online and found that there were like all these little cute cozy towns around the US that host holiday scavenger hunts. And I was like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, that would be so fun. We did not end up putting together a scavenger hunt. Although over the years, we've done that for Sky Guy for birthdays. And we've always had fun putting a scavenger hunt together, not having to be the ones to do it, but to be on the other side. So I started with that in mind. And I just wrote a whole first draft that is 3 different love stories. told from the perspective of three women at varying stages of their lives, and in varying with varying needs to find love or to want love. So, one is an English teacher whose husband died a few years ago, and she's just sort of like holed herself in. Another is a young woman who is trying to start her own Yes Cheese charcuterie board company. And she's not interested in love at all because she is solely focused on business. And then another is a woman in her 40s whose kids have just gone off to college, and she's trying to figure out if she and her husband are still in love. So those three key stories are the main points, and then their lives all intersect in Bend, in Cozy Sweet Bend, around a holiday scavenger hunt that takes place. So I wrote this first draft. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. It sat in my closet for years. And then about a year and a half ago, when I was having a conversation with my publisher who brought the Meg Reed series back, they said, well, would you do another Meg? And if you did, would it be a mystery or maybe it could be a holiday rom-com? And I was like, well, I kind of already have this holiday rom-com that I started, but it's just sitting there taking up space and collecting dust. And they're like, okay, well, what if we did those as a duet? And so then from there, I found myself not only having to write and rewrite this story, Clued into Love, that I wrote during the pandemic, but also writing a second rom-com featuring Meg and that entire cast of crew from my OG mysteries. So it was a lot. It was a lot to be trying a new genre and writing two books in that genre and figuring it all out as I go.
Well, especially since the second one involved characters that you've already written, but in a different genre, right? So that's an interesting thing that you should talk about a little bit for the darlings out there and writers who might be listening. Is you took this cast of characters that were previously in 5 cozy mysteries, and now they're in a rom-com, and so you know them really well. But again, going back to the whole red herring and the suspects and the suspicion, like none of that was there. So all of a sudden, those characters, even though they're the same, they're different, right?
Yes, so different. Oh my gosh. One particular scene comes to mind because, okay, so for Clued into Love is going to take place in Bend with this winter wonderland scavenger hunt and these 3 intersecting stories. Meg's comeback, A Cozy Kind of Christmas, is following that same, sorry, Cherry, formula in that it's going to be 3 intersecting storylines from the perspective of 3 different women. So Meg being one of them, her best friend Jill, and her current boss, Joanna. So we're going to get their 3 perspectives, and all of their plot points are going to intertwine because they're all in Bend for Matt's 30th birthday. So there's this big reunion that's taking place for that original cast. I remember I was writing a scene with Jill, and she's out walking through the lodge, and like the starlight is there, and she's hearing the sound of sleigh bells and horses and feet crunching through the snow. And I quickly start, just because it's muscle memory, and then like the hair on the back of her neck and like her heart is racing and the footsteps are getting closer. And then I literally wrote like 3 paragraphs, and I was like, stop, oh my gosh, no, she's supposed to be having this meetup with this cute guy. Like, yeah, so
It's a new scary rom-com by Ellie Alexander.
Rom-com.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, I love that you love Meg. It's been so fun, Cassandra, to bring her back and to like get to revisit her years later, because I first wrote her when was that? 2012. So it's been a while since I spent a lot of time in Meg's head, and it's been super fun. I personally really love the idea of these emotional growth arcs with characters and that lens of writing really strong women. So I'm excited about that part. And then, of course, there's the sweet little romance that happens in all of them. And the whole goal is these are meant to make you feel good. Like my mysteries, they're supposed to be just pure escapes that at the end of the book, All is right with the world again. There's like a little tiny touch of food in all of them as well because I can't escape that. And I was chatting with my editor about it, and she's like, "Nah, just like let's bring on the holiday food too. Why not? It's fine. It's
Right.
all good."
Totally. Well, and there's no like the Bend as a setting for the holidays is just amazing. For anyone who doesn't know, Bend, Oregon is in Central Oregon, and it's the high desert. So it's like the elevation is up there, and it gets a lot of snow, a lot of snow. And so
A lot of snow.
Bend is an outdoor town. Like outdoor sports are like that is what Bend is all about: running, mountain biking, like whitewater rafting, surfing, kayaking, everything you can think of. And then winter comes, and all of those people put all that stuff in the closet and get out their skis and their snowshoes and their sleds and everything. And it's amazing. And I saw, where's it? Oh, yeah. And yes, Cherry, this is true. Bend, Oregon has the world's last Blockbuster video. It's still
It
there.
does.
It's still there.
And
We
we've been
just
to
drove
it.
past it. Yeah, we just drove past it
Yep.
again this last week when we were there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. The Bend,
Well, and to your
not
point,
Blockbuster.
right.
Just to be clear. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so not only did I get to revisit this cast of characters, but also to see how they would have grown and evolved in almost a decade. And so when we first meet Meg in My Mysteries, she's this outdoor adventure reporter that is in way over her head on every assignment. So now we get to see what she's been up to for the last 7 years. And the reason that she's in Bend is, of course, to celebrate Matt's birthday, but she's also there on assignment for a snow cross race. And I had to think of like, what could she be doing that would be super dangerous and out of her comfort zone and some kind of winter sport that her like editorial push is that she has to try to find a way to make it cozy because it's real easy to make like skiing or snowshoeing cozy, but you're like, how are you going to take snowcross and make it cozy? So that was a fun challenge too.
Yeah, totally. So back to the Clued into Love,
Yes.
the non Meg one, the rom com that's coming out. Talk a little bit about the scavenger hunt because you said that you originally thought, hey, we're going to put on this scavenger hunt and it's going to be great. We never made that happen, but something came up while you were doing your book talk in Sun River, Oregon, which for those who don't know is a little resort town south of Bend, not like maybe 12 or 14 miles south of Bend, and it's beautiful. It's in the middle of the woods, and there's all these cabins, and they have like a little downtown area that's got a bunch of shops and restaurants, and Bend Brewing, which is one of the best Central Oregon breweries. But you had a great conversation that might lead to something pretty fun.
I did. Well, and what's so fun about Sun River is the little like area with the shops and restaurants is called the Villages. So I mean that's pretty much
Right.
a dream. And also, I love biking in Sun River because it's all flat. You don't have to bike down a volcano. So Sun River bike trails
It
are my
is.
speed for sure.
There are a
You can just
couple
tool
small
around.
hills, but they're very short. And
Woo!
yeah, yeah, that is true. It's mostly flat, but yeah, it has hundreds of miles of bike trails that are paved, so you can just
Yes.
like ride around and look at the sights and yeah, see the
Or
wildlife.
cross country ski.
Right,
See the
right.
wildlife. Absolutely. Yeah, so I was chatting about the fact that that I was actually talking about Ashland Mystery Fest and how that came to be, and then I met someone from Sun River that was like, "Well, we could actually put on this scavenger hunt here for the holiday season." So I don't know. That could be the next thing that comes to life. I love the concept of being able to take anything that I'm writing about and turn it into something in real life that we can all do together in person. Mainly just because I love living in these fictional worlds and getting to see any of that in real life is just pure magic for me.
Totally.
Cassandra, it's flat. Yeah,
Yeah,
very flat.
Cassandra backed you up. We got a couple of questions about the, let's see. So you talked a little bit about that, couldn't get away from food, but Cherry asks, will there be recipes?
Yes. Okay. So no recipes in the actual books, but I will be sharing some recipes over the course of the next few weeks and into the holidays. So especially include into love Marissa, who you're going to get to know, who is the owner of Yes Cheese. And she is the first character that we meet. She is catering a huge holiday party at the Graff Mansion. So she has taken all of her food styling and just food skills and put them on display to make these just gorgeous, elaborate displays for this holiday party. So that's really the first scene in the book. And so one of my goals is to recreate that and to share some recipes that she would have used. And then for Meg, there's just lots of food references. We're going to see Gam and Mom and all of the original cast when Meg flies back to Portland and then she drives out to Bend. So Gam is making cookies. So anyone who's been familiar with that series, you're going to get little touches of food, but no recipes in the actual books.
And just so like all the darlings listening out there know, you're not holding back on people. This is a publisher decision, not an author decision about the recipes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
It's not that you don't want to include them. It's just that this isn't something that you generally do with rom-coms. So they'll just be on your social media and website instead.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't think of any rom-com where I've seen recipes in the back.
Exactly.
Although I don't know, maybe we should have done it and like started a trend, but it's too late because the books, the covers are coming out this week. I cannot wait to share them with you. I know, and they'll be up for pre-order, and they're both coming out in mid-October, so they're going to be here so soon, which I cannot wait.
Okay.
Just in time for the holiday.
We got another question from Cherry, actually, also, which is good. I don't know the answer to this, honestly, so it'd be good to hear. Is there an order? Do they need to be read in order? Is there an order? Or are they, like, yeah.
Keep going. How many ways can you ask that? Come on.
I don't know, because I got confused, because at first I was like, oh, yeah, no, you need to read. No, wait, do you? I don't know. So I honestly don't know. Normally I know the answers to all these questions because, I've been doing this with you for so long, but I don't know the answer to this one.
Yeah, this is so different for me too, because, obviously my talking point with a cozy mystery, especially a series, is I always recommend that you start in order, right? Because there's so much backstory, blah, blah, blah. But every mystery can stand alone. As far as rom-coms go, not really. They're a duet in that you meet one character in A Cozy Kind of Christmas. So A Cozy Kind of Christmas is coming out first. Clued into Love is coming out second. So you meet Marissa briefly in A Cozy Kind of Christmas.
And just to pause, A Cozy Kind of Christmas is the one that has the characters from the Meg Reed mysteries in it, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the reason we did that was kind of a pun on the fact that like Meg was a cozy mystery.
Cozy, so totally.
It's a cozy kind of Christmas. Right?
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
See what we did there? We can't get away from those puns. So in A Cozy Kind of Christmas, you briefly meet Marissa, and then in Clued into Love, Marissa is one of the main characters.
Got it.
But that's as far as it goes. And that's what it normally happens in rom-coms as a genre, that you'll meet some secondary character and then they become the star of the show for the next book. Because the whole point of romance is that the characters meet. Like I said, they meet, they have this spark connection, something pulls them apart, they get back together at the end. That's the arc, right? So it doesn't really work to have those characters, the two lead characters, show up in every single book, because that would get pretty old if you're like, okay, we're 12 books in. How many times have they broken up and gotten back together? So for rom-coms, it's more that you're building these worlds, and then some little character, or I'm trying to think of like an example that a lot of people might be familiar with, and I'm thinking like Bridgerton comes to mind because it's so popular, where it's the Bridgerton family. So each book is a different sibling's love story, that kind of thing. So that was a long way to say no, technically you can read them in whatever order you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Now I know. Now I'll be able to answer that question too.
Now you
Cassandra
know. That's half the
asked,
battle. 'Cause
are you
you-
hearing airplanes in the background? Yes, unfortunately.
Yes.
To the north, just north of us, is a Lockheed Martin, an Air Force Base, and NASA. So there are a lot of planes and UFOs that go over our house occasionally. So sometimes, and because it's California and it's hot, we have the windows open right now, and it sounds like the Air Force decided to fly a few planes over. So for those of you listening to this later and not live, you won't hear those because of my post-production magic. So
You will take it all out when this episode airs later this week.
totally.
Lucky you.
They'll be like, what's he talking about airplanes for? Yeah. Well, yeah.
We get some SpaceX sometimes. Yeah, it's all.
It's the fun of live streaming. You know, you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. What
Yeah.
is exciting though is that today it's gray and overcast, and on our walk this morning, it was sprinkling.
It was
There's
sprinkling.
actual water coming down from the sky.
It's almost
Love
fall,
it.
y'all.
So ready for rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so all in all, it was a great challenge. I'm so glad that I had really collaborative publishing partners in this process, because that was super helpful. And I think I would do another one. I just don't think that I would go into it feeling quite as like, oh, this seems easy. There are just these three little plot points that you have to hit. I would be much more aware and humble about the fact that it is its own beast. And I think that's true for any sort of genre writing that you do. And for any darlings that, are writers or thinking about writing, I also think it's great to dabble into multiple genres. Like for me, it kept things fresh. I'm at a point in my career where I do want challenges. I want to push myself. I want to feel that discomfort and sit it in and go like, oh, I don't know what to do now. Like I have to think, and I want to build new worlds. So I think there's really something about stretching yourself and being willing to take chances and try writing something that is not necessarily in your wheelhouse. And what's really fascinating for me is that then when I came back to writing the next cozy after I had done these two rom-coms, that felt like a totally different experience too. Like so much of the romance writing influenced what I was doing in the mystery vein. And there is a lot of crossover just in terms of these are all meant to be feel good comfort reads at the end of the day, like I said, right?
Totally. Totally. Lily asks, so tech guy, are you more likely to try a rom-com read? Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely. I mean, there's like, I just haven't read any. I'm not opposed to them. I think the covers for them are all awesome. In fact, it's very easy to pick out like ones for you, Ellie, for Christmas when I'm looking for gifts, because I love the art style that's used on the covers of most of them. I will definitely be reading for like. No question, we'll definitely be reading A Cozy Kind of Christmas, because I may or may not be the inspiration for a character in that one. It was a carryover from the Meg series. So, yeah.
I know. And we don't know what's happened with that romance. So.
I know. I don't know. And I don't know, which is totally different, because back when you were writing the Meg series, like I read all of them, but you're writing too many books and I'm just not a fast enough reader. So,
right. Well, and this process was so different in terms of the way that I work with my publishing team on this too. So yeah, I know. I'm so excited. I feel fantastic about how they turned out. I love all of these characters, all 6 women. They're just so juicy and meaty, and they all reflect, I feel like, different phases that we all go through in our own emotional growth arcs and our own love and romance arcs too. That idea of finding love and opening yourself up to love and rekindling, like all of those themes. I had a lot of fun exploring, especially after so many bodies and growing body count in Ashland, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the exciting news is that the covers I will be revealing officially on social media this week on Wednesday. If you're listening to this when it airs later in the week, they will already be live. So you can go hunt them down right away.
Totally. And when do they release? Just so those listening know.
A Cozy Kind of Christmas comes out October 13th, and Clued Into Love comes out a week later.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So back to back.
Sounds great. Yeah. All right. So one will be releasing the week of Mystery Fest. That's cool.
One will be releasing the week of Mystery Fest, and maybe if the book God and Goddesses are on my side, we'll have some copies to share there, but I don't know, so we'll have to see.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just one more reason to come to Ashland Mystery Fest, right?
That's right. That's right.
Cool.
Well, it's always so fun to hang live with you, darlings. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday, kind of slightly dreary afternoon here. Sending you all the fall vibes and all of the cozy feels.
Yeah, definitely. And for those of you, the patrons out there listening, who are going to join us for the after party in a few minutes, maybe if we're nice, Kat will mix us all Manhattans.
Ooh, okay. I'm here for that. All right. On that note, till next time.
Until next time.